Welcome to another episode of the Tapestry podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Froswá Drew, and today I have an amazing guest that we're going to talk about one of my loves, which is leadership. And so let me introduce to you Nicole Greer, who is the CEO of Build a Vibrant Culture. Nicole Greer helps individuals, corporations, government, and nonprofits become leaders who fulfill a mission, energize their teams, and build a vibrant culture using the S.H.I.N.E coaching methodology and training program. Nicole offers foundational tools and uncommon wisdom. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here.
Well, I am excited to learn from you, and I want to talk about leadership. How did you get in this space of working with leaders? What led you here?
Well, I'll tell you what, as a very young person going into the workforce, I was blessed with this energy. I have this energy, and now I call it vibrancy. And I just naturally was put into leadership positions because here's what I know. People with good energy, positive energy, who are eager to help, who are eager to serve, who are eager to get the job done, are instantly placed in leadership positions. So my whole life, I've just been like, get Nicole to do that. And so I just was in leadership positions. And so when you get a little history, you get a little experience, then you've got some lessons to share, and you've got an opportunity to kind of give that information to people who can pay it forward. And here's what I know. The world is a hot mess. And I think it's because
Amen.
and I think that it's a hot mess because we don't have the leaders that we need. We need more leadership development. People need to understand what it means to be a positive influence and to kind of woo and convince and persuade and motivate others, to go to higher ground. And so that's how I got into leadership. Just I was blessed. How about that?
And that's a gift,
Right.
to be able to influence people and use the gifting and calling that you have to
Right.
be able to move in positions that make a difference. One of the things I would always hear people say is that, they're born leaders, and others would say they're people that are developed into leaders. What do you think it is? Is it a combination of both? That there are some people, like with you, it sounds like you were naturally a leader, but others would argue, well, you need to go through training and classes to hone that. What do you think it is?
Oh, I think everybody's a leader because the first person you have to lead is yourself. So,
Yes.
even if you don't want the responsibility of leading a whole pack of people, everybody on planet Earth would really appreciate it if you individually, everybody out there listening, would lead yourself really, really well.
Amen. Right, drop. Yes.
So I think that's the first thing. And then I think the thing about leading other people is it takes a lot of courage, and it takes
Mm.
bravery, which is a character trait. And character traits can be developed in people. I looked on your website and checked you all out before we started today. And so congratulations on your books and your successes and everything.
Thank
But I saw
you.
that you had your book Fly Away, which is about
Yes.
your daughter, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you think about all the days that you were developing the character in your daughter, you're trying to turn her into a little person who would go out into the world and fly, and probably fly like an eagle, fly really high, right?
Yes.
And when you first got her, she was adorable. You held her like this.
Yes.
But then, I don't know, one day she turned 13, I'm guessing, and then 14,
Yeah,
15.
that changed. That changed a lot. The holding ended, and she didn't want me to hold her.
Right, which is heartbreaking for us mothers, right? But
Right.
like the whole time that you had her in your care, and you still have her in your care, I'm sure at some level,
Yes.
that you're trying to mold and shape this person. And I think that leadership, even in our corporate environments, our nonprofits, our faith-based entities, here's the thing. We want to develop good people because here's what I know. good people do good work.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. But you made a comment earlier, and I totally agree that there is like a void of good leadership.
Mhm.
Why is that? Because on one hand, when you talk about the character development, I think that is probably missing a lot, not only in education, but probably in some of our homes.
Right.
So what is the void from, and why do you think that we are having this shortage of very good leaders?
Yeah. Well, I think that number one, we're not doing character development. So one of the things that I talk about all the time in building a vibrant culture is that we need to have a baseline of where we talk about being a man or a woman of integrity. And
Yes.
here's the thing about integrity. It's a really weird thing when you talk about integrity with people. Let's say that at one of the conferences you were at and you were speaking and you asked 1,000 people, you said, "Are you men and women of integrity?" How many hands would go up? Well, all 1,000 would go up
Uh-huh.
because nobody wants to say, "Well, I'm not a woman
I don't
of
have
integrity."
integrity.
Right? Nobody wants to say that. So we've made it, unfortunately, an absolute. And integrity
Mhm.
is not an absolute. Integrity, dare I say this, I say it all the time, but dare I say it, it comes and it goes. And so people are like, "What are you talking about?" Well, I mean, I know you're not a murderer. I know you're not a thief. Whatever all the top 10 rules we're not supposed to break, all that stuff. But here's the truth about me, which I think is probably the truth about everybody listening to this podcast, is that I'm not always the best person that I could be. Like, I have
Right.
there's this old acronym, I bet you know it, HALT, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. When I'm in those states, I'm not the best person that I could be. I'm a little short with people. I'm a little like, "You need to feed me now," or, that kind of thing.
You're the
And
Snicker commercial, you become a whole nother person.
that's right, exactly. And so we don't realize that integrity is not this big giant, I'm not, quote unquote, an evil person, but like, we do know that like there is one person in the office who's a little snarky, or one that's a little sarcastic, or one who's a little standoffish, or one who doesn't really do their work because they know you'll do it because you can't stand for
Mhm.
it to not be done. So, you know,
Right.
so integrity are these little things. And so, I talk all the time about developing these traits, and really my favorite thing to do with leaders is to teach them how to do performance management. And at the core of performance management is a person of high quality and high character. Like if somebody said, "Do you do good work?" What would you say? You'd be like, "Yes, I do."
Yes.
I cross my T's, I dot my I's, I show up, I'm on time. Like today, I was on time for the podcast. This is an important thing. But if all the places I go, people are not on time. They don't even want to go to the office and work anymore. They're complaining about having to drive to the office to
Mhm.
work. And it's like, wait a minute, wait a minute. Where's this character trait of loyalty,
Yeah.
dedication, service? See, these are all qualities that we need to be instilling in people.
How do you do that in an organization? Because one of the things that you focus on is culture.
Hmm.
And I don't think people recognize when you have people that don't have loyalty, that may not have integrity, as you're saying that I want to take not only time, but maybe some things because we've got extra, and you have so much of that builds up. Culture is so important. So how do you help build a culture of integrity and of leadership where you really are getting the best out of people? What does that look like?
Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to say is that it starts with the guy or the gal at the top. Okay,
Mhm.
they
Yes.
set the tone. Period, exclamation point, hashtag, whatever, you want to use on the top of your keyboard. That is the truth. And I know it's the truth because we've all heard this adage. Lead by example.
Mhm.
Nobody argues with that one. Like, you got to lead by example. That's how it is. So the person at the tippy top of the organization has to display a really high quality character. So I'm going to shift that just a hot second over here and share a story. I was working with a group of leaders, and I told them one of my favorite things to tell leaders is you're not allowed to have a bad day. And they were like, "What?" And I said, No, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to have a bad day." And they're like, "That's ridiculous, Nicole, we're human." And I said, "Oh, yes, you are. You're human and you will have bad days, but you have to have the character trait of resilience
Mm.
and vision and proper perspective. Like, all of these are character traits. And so you realize, I am having a bad day. And you take yourself away from where everybody can watch you having your bad day, and you get yourself in a room, you reflect, you do some of the skills that we know are important for leaders to do, reflect, maybe ingest some good positive information, do a reframing in our minds, right? You and I are both coaches. Do a reframe, and then get a smile on your face and get back out there and lead by example. Because that is what the world needs, an example of super, super duper resilience. And that is what we need. So the leader starts it out. And so they have to demonstrate the qualities, or they need to get off the stage where nobody can see it. Okay. And that's, you can do that too. You can take a mental health day or whatever. So you can do that. Now, the second thing you need to do is what I said earlier, which is performance management. And
Mhm.
so I talk a lot with leaders about, when they want to build a vibrant culture, how do I do that? Well, you want to bring people into your organization who are very hungry, they are lifelong learners, and they are helpers.
That's good.
And yeah, I mean, it's so important. And then you sit down with these people and you coach them at least once a month for an hour. And you talk to them about where do they want to go in their career pathing. Big part of building a vibrant culture is telling people you have a future here. If you help us, we'll help you. That's how it works. That's how a business works. So career pathing, and then where do you want to go and how do we get you there? So I bet in your life, you had somebody come along and take a good look at you and go, oh my gosh, she's got a brain. She's smart. She makes it happen. And they invested in you. Is that true?
It's true. It's true. I've had others who didn't do that as well either, but you thrive in environments where people do invest in you.
Amen. Mic drop. So, I mean, that's where the magic is. And that's true in my own life. So, I worked for many different places. Coming up, I started working. I don't know what's your story. I started working I babysat, and then I started working the day I turned 16. I went and got a little job.
Yeah, my parents had a restaurant. I started like at 12. I tell everybody that's why I'm tired now because
That's
it's
right.
been decades of working.
I feel you.
But
Okay.
learned a lot though, just like you. I've learned a lot because of those experiences.
100%, right? And so, I got out there, and I had a leader. Her name was Nancy Freeman, and Nancy Freeman was amazing in my life. She was the first leader that really paid attention to me. And and here's the deal: I was given to her. Like, somebody hired me and said, "Here's your new person," which is the
Wow.
craziest thing ever. But so Nancy gets me, and I was young and kind of dumb, and you don't know what you don't know. And she would talk to me. And so one day she said to me, she said, Nicole, it is clear to me you don't understand half the questions I ask you. Because I was just winging it. I was just like, don't look stupid. Just try to answer. And so she's like, so I'm coming to your apartment community, and I'm going to come every Monday, and we're going to work together until you understand the business. And I was like,
Wow.
okay. And so she said, "Do you like Egg McMuffins?" And I said, "I sure do." And she said, "I'll bring you one." And so this woman came and sat down with me, and she taught me business acumen. You see, I hadn't been to college at that point. I got that. I did get that done. I've been to college, but I didn't do it till I was an adult. But I sat at her feet, and she's like, "This is how you do this, and this is how you do this, and this is how I want." Don't miss this, all you leaders listening. This is how I want you to think about things. She taught me how to think about things. Like, this is the funnel. You put this, when this happens, you put it through that funnel and you think about it that way. And a lot of the thinking was based on qualities of character. I want you to be loyal. I want you to be prudent. I want you to be fair. Hear all the character traits?
Yes. But
And
the fact that she made that kind of investment in you, because you typically don't see leaders who are concerned with the whole person. I'm concerned with the function that you provide in the organization, but I'm not interested in growing you. And it's obvious that Miss Freeman was interested in growing you.
and here's the thing. Here's what Nancy understood. If I don't grow Nicole Greer, I will have so much work to do.
Mm,
Right? And so
yeah.
that is a big missing piece of the thinking of a lot of our leaders is that I have to go spend time with these people, these young people, or however old they are, doesn't matter. I've got to go help them think the way I think. And I've got to help develop them into a person so that I can go do my other parts of my job. I need
Yes.
Nicole to fully do her job so I can come over here and do mine. In today's world, every manager I know is a working manager. They've got a whole list of their own duties besides
Mhm.
managing this cadre of humans. So it's only the most intelligent thing you can do is to do that performance management. So um, hopefully I won't offend anybody. I will try. I use this analogy. I have never offended anybody yet, but I'm trying to be careful. So I talk about how sometimes you have two employees and one is an eagle and one is a turkey. Okay. And what do
Uh-huh.
eagles do? Eagles fly higher and higher and higher, and turkeys kind of run around on the ground, gobble, 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 gobble. Now, I have a philosophy that number one, you have to take care of these eagles or they will fly out of your territory. They will go somewhere
Completely.
else. If
Mhm.
if you don't take your eagle and sit with them once a month and say, "What else do you want to learn? Where else can we send you? What else can we do with you?" They will find an opportunity, especially today. Now, the turkeys, oftentimes we just try to tolerate them. But I believe, and I know you believe this, is that people can change.
They can.
They really can. But they sometimes they can't change on their own.
And they need
They
tools to be able to do that.
100%. And they need a voice in their life that is saying, "Here's where you are. Want to go over here?" You know, and you don't ever call anybody a turkey. Can I be clear? You don't ever call anybody a turkey. But but I need an analogy, right? I need a
Right.
metaphor. But you go to that turkey and you say, you have, and this is how I say it, untapped potential.
Yes.
And on my watch, I'm going to get it out of you.
I love that. But
So
it works. And I've done that with a team. I remember I was supervising a team that was remote across the country, and I would ask them, "What do you wanna be? Beyond this job, what is it that you wanna do?" And when I started learning what they wanted, I tried to make sure that we were giving them opportunities to grow in that space, and they felt invested in, but also the loyalty came because here was somebody who was interested in me beyond just the work that I'm doing.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And here's the thing. In if I, when I ask people my age, I'm like, tell me about the leader or the leaders that really took a personal interest in you and you felt like they developed you. And here is the sad report. People are like, I've never had anybody else that,
Wow.
or I've had one person, in a 30-year career. Because see, here's the thing, even if let's say I'm in the C-suite and I'm like the chief marketing officer or something, and there's the CEO up here. that CEO, does not let off the gas. That CEO gets up with the chief marketing officer and says, "What do you want to do with your career? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take this thing? What can I do to help?" But a lot of times, it's kind of like they're rising up, and there's some complacency or something that seeps in. I've made it up, or I'm up here. But I will tell you, I find that the more we coach, the more that we do performance management, and let me tell you what that is, just real quick. So it's sitting down and having a coaching conversation, which you can learn those skills very easily. And you're literally setting goals for the quarter or and you sit down and you say, "What do you need from me?" Because the leader's number one job
Mhm.
is to remove obstacles.
Right.
Because I don't have control over the budget. You help me. I don't have the resources. You gotta give me what I need to get where I want to go. So so you sit down with me and you coach me, you tell me stories, and literally a leader will put on different hats in that conversation. So there's 4 hats that the leader needs to be able to exercise. And one is the leadership hat, which is this is where we're going, because leading is like directional. We're going over here. The second hat is managing. So what are your KPIs? What are the results that you're getting? What is your team saying? Let's look at the process. Let's look at the procedure. That's managing. And sometimes we've got a process in place that it's not working. And instead of just saying, make it work, you might need the history, the education, the experience, that whatever from your leader to help you finagle, get yourself out of this process procedure mess. The third hat is the coaching hat, which is I'm going to ask you powerful questions and rewire your brain. And then the fourth hat is mentoring. And And that is just like, here's what I did. Here's what I've learned. Don't learn it the hard way like me. And sharing who I am with you. And so in that conversation, imagine if every employee in America was having that conversation once a month. What would happen to productivity?
Oh, it transform a organization completely.
That's right. And America.
Yeah.
And
That's another conversation. We need you, Nicole, for that. That's a whole nother conversation.
I know. But and here and the thing is, if you're in terms of like diversity, equity, and I think really important inclusion is, like how do you get that going in your culture? I feel included if my leader sits down and talks to me.
Yes.
It's that
And they see
simple.
me. Yes, they
Right.
see me. I matter. I'm heard. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is awesome. How do people get in contact with you? Because I want folks to take advantage of you do coaching, you do trainings, you do keynotes, you do a lot of different things. So how do people get in touch with you to learn more about your amazing work?
They just go to vibrantculture.com. It's real simple. Again, my name is Nicole Greer, and it's Greer. There's some crazy people with I's before E's and E's with I's and all that. It's just 2 E's. and I'm on LinkedIn, and I link in with everybody under the sun because I'm just like, let's get this done. Let's fix some things out there. So LinkedIn is the best place social media wise to find me, and then if you type in Nicole Greer Vibrant Culture, I pop right up.
I love your personality. You
Oh, thank
don't
you.
find a lot of people, seriously, you don't find a lot of people that are in this space of leadership who live what they're teaching. And it's obvious that through your experiences, you've got this wisdom that you're sharing. And so I just applaud you for the way that you show up and how you care, because it's obvious that you shepherd people through this process. And so I just appreciate what you're doing. And I hope that people will reach out to you and take advantage of all the wonderful things that you do to transform individuals and organizations to be better.
Oh, thank you so much. That's so beautiful.
Well, Nicole, thank you for being on the show. You have been a delight. And so I hope once again that people take advantage of this because we need some great leaders. There is definitely a vacuum and a void in our culture, and we need some people to step up with character. So thank you
Mhm.
for being on the show. This is another episode of the Tapestry podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Froswá Booker Drew. And please, if you love what you heard today, check out our other episodes of amazing women who have phenomenal stories. Take care.